Here we are in section 7-3, exercises 4 through 9. Here we're told to solve. We have radicals, square roots, and cube roots. And we're told, first step, remember, isolate the square root. Then we square both sides, or in this case, cube both sides, to get rid of the square root. That's how we undo it. And we may have some tough problems where we need to repeat that. And we need to always watch out with these after we solve, test, because squaring both sides, we might pick up an extraneous solution. So let's double check our answers there. Okay, number 4, isolate the square root. Got it. Square root is now by itself. So square both sides. And if you square a square root, it just becomes 2x minus 4. We're good there. Equals 64. Now we can solve. Add 4 to both sides. 2x equals 68. And divide by 2, we get x equals 34. Let's test it and double check that we did not make a mistake here. So 34, if we stick it back up in here, we get the square root of 2 times 34 is 68 minus 4. That is, square root of 64 is 8. Does that actually equal 8? Yes, it does. So 34 is our answer on that one. Number 5, step number 1, isolate the square root. Done. Square both sides to get rid of that square root there. And square of a square root is just 5x minus 4 equals 36. Oh, now we know how to solve that. Add 4 to both sides and we get 5x equals 40. X equals 8. Okay, let's double check. Let's stick 8 back in to see if we get that. And we got the square root of 5 times 8 is 40 minus 6. 40 minus 4, excuse me. 40 minus 4 is square root of 36 is 6. Does that equal 6 in our original equation? It does. So x equals 8 is indeed an answer. Good. Okay. Number 6, oh, here we have a cube root. So we've isolated the radical, but this time we're not going to square both sides. What undoes cube root? Well, cubing does. So we're going to cube both sides of the equation. We're going to raise both sides to the power 3. Here on this side, we just get 4x minus 5. How does that work? Yeah, cube root and cube. That's why we did it, was to undo the cube root. Our powers in math land are even larger, equals to 27. So we add 5 to both sides. We have 4x equals 32. And we get, divide by 4, x equals 8. All right, let's test and make sure we did it right. The cube root of 4 times 8 is 32 minus 5. That's the cube root of 27 is 3. Does 3 equal 3? Indeed it does. So x equals 8 is our answer to number 6. Okay, number 7. Isolate the square root. Got it. Square both sides. Good. So we get 5x minus 6 equals negative 2 squared is a positive 4. So we add 6 to both sides. 5x equals 10. And then we divide by 5. We get x equals a 2. Okay, let's double check. Let's stick it back up in here. We get the square root of 5 times 2 is 10 minus 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Does that equal a negative 2? It does not. That did not work. So x equals 2 is not an answer. So in this case, we have no solution. Yeah, that's crazy. And you could have seen this right here. The square root always comes out to be a positive number. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 36 is 6. We don't get the square root of a number being a negative, even though negative 2 squared does give us a positive 4. So that's where we picked up an extra possible answer. But in this case, no solution. That was an extraneous root. All right, next one. Number 8. Isolate the square root. It is now isolated. Good. Square both sides. Ooh, a little tricky here. When you square this side, that is a binomial. You cannot just make x squared plus 36. That is the freshman's dream mistake, and it doesn't work. On this side, square and square root, yep, becomes 2x plus 3. Good. And on this side, we have x squared minus 12x plus 36. So you might need to go ahead and multiply that out. That's x minus 6 times x minus 6. So make sure you're understanding what's going on to get this whole thing. This is now a polynomial equation, which means we're going to have to factor. This is a chapter 5 one. All of these gave us chapter 2 problems right up until here. And then we got a chapter 5 one. So we need to get it equal to 0. So subtract 2x from both sides. And then subtract 3 from both sides. So we get 0 equals x squared minus 14x minus, nope, plus 33. Okay, factor this. Let's think, what times is up to 33? 1 and 33, or 3 and 11. Oh yeah, that'll do it. That'll give us a negative 14 right there. So we get x minus 3, x minus 11 equals 0. And that gives us x equals 3 as an answer and x equals 11 as an answer. All right, let's double check and stick these back in to see which one works. First, the 3. Square root of 2 times 3 is 6 plus 3. Whether that equals 3 minus 6. Let's try it. Square root of 6 plus 3, square root of 9 is 3. Equals 3 minus 6 is a negative 3. Does not. X equals 3 is an extraneous solution and is not working for us. Stick 11 in and we get the square root of 2 times 11 is 22 plus 3. Does that equal, stick 11 in for that x, 11 minus 6. Square root of 22 plus 3, that's the square root of 25 is 5, equals 11 minus 6. And does that equal 5? Yes, it does. 11 is indeed a solution. I like that. That's good. Okay, last one. Number 9. Isolate the radical. That's a square cube root, indeed. So let's cube both sides. Oh, I just put a squared there. We are cubing both of these. All right, so those just cancel, and we get 5x minus 4 equals, let me see, negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4, that's negative 64. So if we add 4 to both sides, this is a nice chapter 2 equation where we just get the x's together and solve. So add 4, we get 5x equals, what is that, negative 60? So x equals a negative 12. All right, let's test to see if we picked up an extra answer. Negative 12, 5 times negative 12. Let's write this out here. Cube root of negative 60 minus 4, cube root of negative 64. That equals negative 4. Remember, odd exponents. When you cube root, you can cube root a negative without any problem, because when you cube negative 4, the negative times negative times negative actually gives you a negative 64. And so you can actually have a cube root come out negative, whereas over here we notice square roots don't come out negative. So that's an important thing to note. And does it equal negative 4? It indeed does. Cool.